Hello, BookTube. This is the NaNo WriMo Tag. I first saw this tag on Ben Sanders' channel. Excellent channel. Most of you, if you're watching my channel, you already know about Ben. And then I watched Steve Donahue do the tag, and he challenged everyone in his Voxer group, and that is a friend of his on the NaNoWriMo site, which I am both, to do the tag. So I thought I'd go ahead and give it a shot, and I'll get right to the question. This was originally created by Christina Horner, so I will put a link to her, to Ben, and to Steve down below. So let's get right to it. So how many times have you done NaNoWriMo? So NaNoWriMo, for those of you who don't know, is National Novel Writing Month. I live in a very rural area, and yet the library right up the road is having an event. I'm doing it this year because I'm hoping to host NaNoWriMo events next year at my own library. I've heard about it since 2017, so I made an account on the NaNoWriMo site in 2017, but it's taken me 2 years to actually go ahead and attempt the writing of a novel, which is what it's all about. So a little bit was a bit of a lurker there at first, trying to learn about it, and I still struggle with the site a little bit, but that's fine. So this is my first time. And how did you first find out about NaNoWriMo? There was a note in the paperwork at my library when I got there about NaNoWriMo, and I just thought somebody had spelling issues. I think the prior director was well acquainted with it, so eventually I figured out here and there, watching videos, it's come up enough, so now I know what it is. So again, it's National Novel Writing Month, and it takes place in November. And then the prior month in October, you prep. They call it Preptober now. And in my case, it was, I look at my thing, it was called Save the Cat, a 3-act structure they used in screenwriting, which I used to help me plot and prepare. So, yeah. Number 3, what was the name of the first novel you attempted with Nano? For me, that's this year, and it's NoRumbega, N-O-R-U-M-B-E-G-A. Yeah. And if you ever heard of Lost Cities of Cibola, say if you were from the Southwest, maybe New Mexico or something like that, you know that these were these mythical cities of gold. Well, that happened in... basically, there was a city of gold assumed to exist at the present site of Bangor, Maine. Portuguese explorers and Spanish explorers, Verrazano and others had heard rumors from the first, the inhabitants of the North America when they arrived, and of course, we don't know how much of that was tongue-in-cheek, where they were picking on the explorers, saying, well, we know what you like, go up this river, that ought to be fun. But, so NoRumbega was one of those mythical cities. The ship in my story is the NoRumbega. Give us one-sentence summary of what you're writing this year. So I'm writing a science fiction novel. Again, it's about, the ship is central. It is the NoRumbega, as an artificial intelligence called Nora, NoRumbega for short. She is linked, if you're linked to her as a crewman, you can get radio type, you can get voice communications, you can have some schematics show up, they show up behind your eyes. She can show you ship systems or a map or whatever. But her link with the captain of the ship is much deeper, and that runs to the heart of the story. And her beginning and his, they come out of something of a controversy. She's the kind of ship that should have never existed in this far-flung future, and they both carry a great deal of guilt but they have to deal with the future. So space opera in a way, Indiana Jones in outer space in a way, looking at new cultures, a new world, and yet having that force you to look at yourself. So that would be it. What's the best writing advice you've ever been given? Well, this is run counterintuitive to what I'm doing, but I'm also a booktuber and a librarian and da-da-da-da-da. I did have someone tell me if I spent a lot of time, and I'm on a Voxer group about this whole writing process, with Steve, Matt from Paperback Junkie, Britta, a bunch of other folks. And I love listening to the talk, and I get on, and it is great fun. You get a sense of community. But the advice I was getting, if I spend a lot of time talking about my book, I'm not going to write it. You know what I mean? So I can sit at my desk here and have an idea when I sit down, and then I can grow with the story or the subconscious or however that works. And I haven't locked anything down, or I haven't already told the story by just telling it. I've got to write it. So I think the point was, don't talk about it, sit down and write. So in the end of the day, the advice is always just to sit down and write. Otherwise it doesn't happen. Number 6, did you ever take a year off Nano? Why? No, I've answered that. This is my first year writing, but if I broaden that question, why didn't I write the first, like 2017 and 2018? I've never really had this huge desire to be. I love books. I write articles and I write newsletters. I do a lot of writing. I've done a couple reviews for Open Letters. I have a whole world of interest and I enjoy writing. I was a graduate student for a very long time, did tons of research papers, love that sort of thing. I never really had this huge desire to be a writer. So I'm finding that I'm enjoying this. It's very, very, very much something that I'm glad I've done, but I've never had that image of myself as a writer. Number 7, what's the biggest inspiration when figuring out what to write? So the great thing about this has been I wake up in the middle of the night and run around the corner over there, down this little hallway, and grab a notebook in the middle of the night with an idea that is percolated up while I was sleeping. I should show you here. I hope I don't lose the questions doing this. I have a pad here that sits on my desk. It's an old legal pad with page after page of these ideas that are written in the middle of the night. Some pages are more full, some pages are less full. That's actually a plan of one of the buildings where there's a firefight. They don't always make it to the page, or they don't make it quite to the page the way they were originally written. I mean, there's tons of this. That's charming, huh? It gets like that all the time. And that's, to me, great fun. You know, this character, all of a sudden I thought, well, you know, they wouldn't be like that. Or, gee, she just went outside. There's no weather. Are there plants? Is there trash in the alley? You know, that sort of thing. And it's just great fun. I enjoy it very much. So the inspiration is the fact that it makes me wake up. I'll be walking down to my office in the library, and all of a sudden I'm pulling up. I have a little notebook. Well, it's in my briefcase, but where I jot down notes. It's fun. It's fun and inspiring that it would make me act like this. Read us the first sentence from one of your novels. Well, I don't have any novels, but I do have my manuscript here. It was not the sort of bar Emerson and his crew usually ended up at after a successful mission, especially as one as lucrative as this had been. That's it. How do you open up with a bar scene? And then, why do you love writing? I don't know that I do. I'm enjoying this. Like I said, I've never had any intention to be a novelist or anything like that. I think it's a great exercise for a librarian, so you appreciate what a real novelist does. But no, I'm enjoying the fact that it is constantly bubbling in the back of my mind. That's a really neat. I do that with work. My work is my life. Libraries are my life. I believe they're important. I believe they're of value on so many levels. And I dream for my library. I work. I scheme. I do everything for me. That's my passion in life. It's a small part of the bookish world, but that's what I do. So I've had that experience before. But I find with writing the novel, I'm having a little more of that, and that's great fun. That's a gift. So that is the NaNoWriMo Tag. I thank Steve. I thank Ben, and I thank Christina, and all the folks on my Voxer group, and all the folks on that are connecting me on the NaNoWriMo website. There's other people I wanted to connect with, and I said I would, but I have to admit I'm struggling a little bit with the website. So if I didn't get with you, please send me an invite, and I'll figure it out somehow. Well, I say that. I've had some struggles, but so no, I thank you to everyone, and good luck writing. Thank you, BookTube, and thank you, AuthorTube.